Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer, and this is Robin, and we are with Hungry for More. And we are here today to talk to you about something that we run into a lot, and I ran into a lot. And it's funny because we had three different titles we could give this podcast. One is, Do you live challenge to challenge? Another one is, Are you addicted to weight loss challenges? And another one is your weight loss challenge sabotaging your goals. Now, what we're not here to do is to put down challenges or to rip on them because we believe they serve a purpose. And I love challenges. I'm a very competitive person. Like, if you give me a challenge, I'm usually going to jump in. In fact, my daughter and her boyfriend invited me to do a 30-day challenge with them. And I looked at what it was. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. It's all stuff I already do. So it's really not a challenge for me, but I'm going to win. Basically, what that means is I'm going to win. So
That's right.
that's my competitive spirit kicking in, which is usually always in top notch. So challenges aren't really necessarily the issue themselves. It's our mindset around challenges. And I want to give you an example of that. So for years, I have coached challenges, whether they be 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day, or longer, whatever, right? I've done challenges. There's some popular challenges out there that I've done. And what I've noticed on them is a lot of good positive comes out of them, right? Because people are checking off this
Yeah.
daily list of things they're getting done. Um, but what I've noticed is when a challenge ended, and maybe there was a gap before the next one started. So say there was 2 weeks or 4 weeks in between challenges, people would go, well, I'm not on the challenge. So now I'm off. And they would do
Right.
kind of whatever they wanted in between, knowing that another challenge would come. This isn't everyone, but it really was the majority of it.
Yeah.
I was a pretty big percentage. And I've had that mentality before, so I understand when I've done a challenge that's so rigid. Like I did one where it was like 2 hour-long workouts a day, do this. There's this huge list of stuff, which I wouldn't do on a normal day, but I loved it when I did it. But when it was done, I did not keep doing it. I cut
Yeah.
it out of my life. So I could
Yeah.
still stay conscious with my eating, but the other stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to continue doing that. So what happened is my people were just sabotaging themselves because the next challenge would come and it was like, say they moved 2 steps forward, all of a sudden they were 1 step back. So not even
Yeah.
maintaining, maybe in that month they had put on 10 pounds of the 20 they had lost in the challenge. So yes,
Yeah.
they were still down, but now we had to lose that and then move on. So they were kind of sabotaging themselves. And it was the mindset. So, Robin, let's talk to him about that because we talked about, well, how do you do the challenges as a positive thing,
Yeah.
but not have it be an on off thing?
Right. So, yes, just to be clear, the issue isn't the challenge itself, like you said, it's the mindset around it. And the mindset usually is when I'm on a challenge, I'm motivated, I'm accountable, the competitive mindset, for those who are competitive, that may be it. But it's this idea of like when I'm on, I'm on. And when I'm off, everything turns off.
Yeah.
And so that's the culprit there, right? I'm only paying attention and motivated and conscious, really. Just the whole point of challenges, because of the checklist that they provide, it makes you conscious. Okay.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. And when you're doing this and you don't even realize that that's what's happening, when the challenge is over and you don't have the checklist, you literally just go back to your unconscious ways of being. And just a really quick reminder here that, our grandparents and back, in our ancestry did not need to be conscious eaters. They could just respond to the environment around them. They didn't have to think consciously. And so that's what we're shifting into. This is what we're trying to train the brain to do. And challenges can be good that way because they can kind of give that experience of it. But if you don't even realize that that's the whole point, and that you're being successful because you're being conscious, then when you don't have that checklist, then off it goes. So the
Right.
mindset's the main thing for
Right.
sure.
And I was thinking about it. I remember one time doing a challenge when I was first at the beginning of my weight loss, pre-conscious. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember doing this challenge and it eliminated certain foods. And it was so great because the challenge actually, because I wasn't understanding conscious eating or any of that, kind of kept me in tow. And all of a sudden, some of the health issues I had disappeared.
Yeah.
So I was so appreciative to the challenge because
Very.
it kept me going. And then I realized it. And then eventually, right, I learned conscious eating and it rolled forward and it wasn't a challenge. It was just, this is how I
Way
am.
of-
Like, this
yeah.
is how I eat. And yeah, you can do the challenge or whatnot, but it's so very interesting how mindset plays such a huge role into that.
Yeah, exactly. So much so, Jen, that like you, many people will have those kinds of results. They will feel better. They will literally have some of their ailments that they've dealt with go away. And when the challenge is over, they will still go back to
Yeah.
how they used to be, even with that kind of result, even with a big weight loss drop. You will go back to how you're wired to eat unless you keep a conscious eye on it, like we teach. So that's really the challenges in and of itself need to have a healthy mindset attached to it. And it's just like everything we say, nutrition and exercise and challenges without mindset is just going to end up being another diet. And it literally becomes, and this is one of the titles, right? You just kind of live from challenge to challenge. And it's just a cyclical, you're in that lose gain cycle.
Absolutely. And this is the thing, do your challenge. If you have a particular way you eat, do it. Great. But keep in mind, if you are not doing the mindset work,
Yeah,
when the challenge is over, you go back to how you were before the challenge. And
exactly.
so it's so critical that you tie this in regardless of what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Something else, and this just came up, and many of you may be dealing with this with the beginning of the year. One of our clients was talking about how, she's been, since 2023 working on conscious eating and moving steadily along with the practice and losing weight steadily and all that. Well, at the beginning of the year, her family is doing a weight loss challenge together, right? And it was just so interesting to see how her mind went to like, oh my gosh, because she wants to be part of this and she wants to compete in this. But her mind started going to all the extreme things. And so when she was asking me about it, like, what do you think about me doing this? I'm like, well, I'm not the authority of that, but are the things you're wanting to shift to in this challenge things you want to keep up forever? Or would it just be for the purpose of
Right.
and she's like, yeah, it's pretty extreme stuff that I wouldn't want to sustain. And we just kind of talked about that, and we talked about this last time. There is nothing wrong with having some reflection and saying, you know what, I need to give my body a break from sugar for a minute, right? Maybe going a few days, whatever it is that you kind of feel. There's a difference between feeling your body kind of asking you to make some shifts or to give something a rest. The mindset around a challenge and quitting for that reason is totally different. And it's usually going to set you up for when you go back to that way of eating and reincorporate it, you're going to be in that damn eat territory that we talk about. So the other thing with challenges and the mindset around it that can sabotage you is sometimes these challenges have unrealistic expectations. They're things that you do not plan to do for the rest of your life, especially around the eating. Sometimes it's going to do a physical challenge that kind of pushes you, but with eating, to go to those extremes, that gets really tricky and you're in sabotage territory completely.
Correct. Right. Exactly. Been there, done that. I mean, it's like you just eliminate it completely. And then when the door opens for it, you're like, I must get it all in while I can.
Yes. Exactly. Well, I wanted to come back around and kind of finish the story. So we're in what, January, mid-January now, almost the end of January. When I saw this client this week, she's like, what's so funny is like everyone is falling off their challenge, like in my family, because she had made the decision, you know what, I am going to join this challenge, but doing it the conscious way. And I'll just create my own rules around
Mhm.
that and be okay that if I don't get the 10-pound drop because I'm not doing these big extreme things. But she gave herself a measurable way to still like challenge herself.
Right.
But yeah, she's got family members heading on vacations next week. A few of them are going on cruise, and they're just like, oh, well, we're not going to do this on the cruise. And so they're already kind of like coming
That
off
is
it.
so
So
funny.
that's the kind of mindset we want to pay attention to.
Yep,
You don't
absolutely. Well, you've got it here. I mean, we've got the mindset practice.
Yeah.
We are going to, we're really excited because coming very soon, I know we keep saying this if you follow our podcast,
Yeah.
but we want it to be all together for you. But we have some challenges that are a challenge that is coming, and it's a 60-day challenge, and it's going to be all geared around mindset. If so, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. You need to
Yeah.
incorporate this
Yeah.
because
Oh my
it
goodness.
literally will change your life, and you will hold on to the principles that you learn, and they will
Exactly.
become lifelong things. They'll be so easy, and yeah, they'll just become second nature. So regardless of what you're doing, you'll have those tools in your toolbox at all times. So
Yeah. So obviously we are not anti-challenges. We're going to be bringing you a challenge.
yes,
But as we got talking about this and as we've been having conversations with people in the group, we can see that in and of itself, the challenge is just another tool. And it can be something that unless you have the mindset to go with it, a healthy mindset, it will just be yet another thing that just sucks you into that cycle. So we are so excited for our Mindset 60 that's coming, because it will be like nothing you've experienced in a weight loss challenge. And it's literally the preliminary foundational thing you need to establish in your mind before you do anything to change your food. And usually that's the first thing we do with the challenge, right? Get rid of this, get rid of that. Let's reduce this. And so none of that's going to be happening, but you're going to be doing work on your brain that's going to set you up for success and get us out of that cycle.
absolutely. It's going to be amazing, and it will be coming soon. And we really mean that. We promise.
No.
Anyway, have a good day. Do your challenges if you want to do them, but don't let them sabotage you.
Yeah, pay attention. Keep your mindset.